Welcome. It has been 49 days since Larry Ward, true great sound, transitioned from the human realm where he lived for 77 years. This chapter of his life began in Cleveland, Ohio on January 30th, 1948, when he was adopted by Viola Paris and Roy L. Ward. He made his transition on August 19th in Rhode Island, and Larry continues in the lives of his son Emmanuel, partner and best friend Peggy, furry friend Tashi, and in all of us.
Let us remember and celebrate a life well lived and well loved. This ceremony renews our acquaintance with Larry, deepens our understanding of his life and its meaning, and reminds us of the impermanence of our own lives and the continuation of life that we share with him.
We will begin with an incense offering, followed by the Heart Sutra from Deer Park Monastery. Readings will invoke the bodhisattvas and sacred texts, and Melanie Harris will offer her heart and voice in song. Friends and family will share stories from Larry's early years through his later decades, including reflections from Emmanuel, Jan and Blaze, Kyra Jewel, Kamala Majid, and friends from Wake Up Toronto and Wake Up Midwest.
The ceremony will close with prayers from the Christian and Indigenous traditions offered by Tamara Kress and Diane Little Eagle. Let us reflect on how Larry continues to live in each of us. Thank you for joining us as we support Larry and all beings.
On my 3 bows to begin.
The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be truly present with us now. The fragrance of this incense fills our practice center, protects and guards our mind from all wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense collects us and unites us. Precepts concentrate
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The Dharma is deep and lovely. We now have a chance to see, study, and to practice it. We vow to realize its true meaning. The insight that brings us to the other shore. Avalokiteshvara, while practicing deeply with the insight that brings us to the other shore, suddenly discover that all of the five skandhas are equally empty, and with this realization they overcame all ill being. Listen, Shariputra, this body itself is emptiness, and emptiness itself is body. This body is not other than emptiness, and emptiness is not other than this body. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Listen, Shariputra, phenomena bear the mark of emptiness, the true nature. Nature of no birth, no death, no being, no non-being, no defilement, purity, no increasing, no decreasing. That is why in emptiness, bodies, feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness are no separate self-entity. Ill-being, the causes of ill-being, the end of ill-being, the path, insight, and attainment are also not separate self-entity. Whoever can see this no longer needs anything to attain. Bodhisattvas who practice the insight that brings us to the other shore see no more obstacles in their minds, and because there are no more obstacles in their minds, they can overcome all fear, destroy all wrong perceptions, and realize perfect nirvana. All Buddhas in the past, present, and future, by practicing the insight, brings us to the other shore, are all capable of attaining authentic and perfect enlightenment. Therefore, Shariputra, it should be known that the insight that brings us to the other shore is a great mantra, the most illuminating mantra, the highest mantra, a mantra beyond compare, the true wisdom that has the power to put an end to all kinds of suffering. Therefore, let us proclaim a mantra to praise the insight that brings us to the other shore. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisattva.
Dear Larry, dear Tai, dear community, invocation of the bodhisattvas. We invoke the energies of bodhisattvas that inspire our path, our practice. These qualities reside within each of us and all beings. We invoke your name, Avalokiteshvara. We inspire to learn your way of listening in order to help relieve the suffering in the world. You know how to listen in order to understand. We invoke your name in order to practice listening with all our attention and open-heartedness. We will sit and listen without any prejudice. We will sit and listen without judging or reacting. We will sit and listen in order to understand. We will sit and listen so attentively that we will be able to hear what the other person is saying and also what is being left unsaid. We know that just by listening deeply, we already alleviate a great deal of pain and suffering in the other person. We invite you to bow at the sound of the bell.
Dear Brett,
Brett bowing in. Manjushri, we evoke your name, Manjushri. We aspire to learn your way, which is to be still and to look deeply into the heart of things and into the hearts of people. We will look with all our attention and our open-heartedness. We will look with unprejudiced eyes. We will look without judging or reacting. We will look deeply so that we will be able to see and understand the roots of suffering, the impermanent and selfless nature of all that is. We will practice your way of using the sword of understanding to cut through the bonds of suffering, thus freeing ourselves and other species.
at the sound of the bell, you can bow.
We invoke your name, Samantabhadra. We aspire to practice your vow to act with the eyes and heart of compassion, to bring joy to one person in the morning and to ease the pain of one person in the afternoon. We know that the happiness of others is our own happiness, and we aspire to practice joy on the path of service. We know that every word, every look, every action, and every smile can bring happiness to others. We know that if we practice wholeheartedly, we ourselves may become an inexhaustible source of peace and joy for our loved ones and for all beings.
Victoria?
We invoke your name, Kishitagarbha. We aspire to learn your way of being present where there is darkness, suffering, oppression, and despair, so we can bring light, hope, relief, and liberation to those places. We are determined not to forget about or abandon those in desperate situations. We will do our best to establish contact with those who cannot find a way out of their suffering, those whose cries for help, justice, equality, and human rights are not being heard. We know that hell can be found in many places on earth. We will do our best not to contribute to creating more hells on earth and to help transform the hells that already exist. We will practice in order to realize the qualities of perseverance and stability so that, like the earth, we can always be supportive and faithful to those in need.
Vivian?
We invoke your name, Sada Paribhuta. We aspire to learn your way of never disparaging or underestimating any living being. With great respect, we will say to all we meet, you are someone of great value. You have Buddha nature. We see this potential in you. We will look with a wise, compassionate gaze so we are able to hold up a mirror where others can see their ultimate nature reflected. We will remind people who feel worthless that they too are a precious wonder of life. We vow to water the positive seeds in ourselves and others so that our thoughts, words, and actions can encourage confidence and self-acceptance in ourselves, our children, our loved ones, and in everyone we meet. Inspired by the great faith and insight that everyone is a Buddha, we will practice your way of patience and inclusiveness so that we can liberate ourselves from ignorance and misunderstanding and offer freedom, peace, joy to ourselves and to others and to our society.
Now have a reading of No Coming, No Going by Tejo from Great Tree Zen Women's Temple. And just let me unmute you first. Oh, yeah, you're back on mute there. There we go.
Body is not me. I am not limited by this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I have never died. Look at the ocean and the sky filled with stars, manifestations from my wondrous true mind. Since before time, I have been free. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass, sacred thresholds on our journey. Birth and death are a game of hide and seek. So laugh with me. Hold my hand. Let us say goodbye. Say goodbye to meet again soon. We meet today. We will meet again tomorrow. We will meet at the source of every moment. We meet each other in all forms of life.
Well, dear friends, we'll now enjoy a song from our dear friend Melanie Harris. You may have remembered her from our 7th day ceremony. Melanie?
I want Jesus to walk with me. I want Jesus to walk with me all along this pilgrim journey. I want Jesus to walk with me. I see Fanny Lou Hamer walking with me. I see Fanny Lou Hamer walking with me. All along this pilgrim journey. I see Sister Fanny Lou walking with me. I feel Larry walking with me. I feel our teacher. He's walking with you. All along this pilgrim journey. I feel Jesus. I see Fanny. I feel Larry. With you.
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you. Let us continue bringing our friend, our dear friend and teacher, Larry, to mind and sending the energy of loving kindness and compassion to him. Let's sit and enjoy our breathing for a moment, allowing him to be present with us now.
So we'll have some special guests now share a bit about Larry's life. And we'll begin with Larry's son, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, could you start your video just so I can spotlight you for the group here? And then if you don't want to look at yourself, you can always go view gallery. And then you can see the whole audience again.
Hey, Matt, let me do
Hey,
that.
Matt.
If you're okay, I'd like to follow Blaze Sands when we speak.
To go after Blaze?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
That'll work for me.
Hi, Blaze. Let me put you up.
So I'm Blaze Sands, and if you could spotlight Jan as well, we're going to do a two-part thing. There you go.
Very good.
So it's both a privilege and a deep honor for us to share reflections on the life of our dear friend and colleague, Larry. Our journey with Larry began more than 55 years ago with the community of the Order Ecumenical, the Ecumenical Institute, the Institute of Cultural Affairs. Over those decades, we witnessed Larry's evolution that began with him as a young, dynamic pedagogue teaching theological and community development workshops in Chicago. The Ecumenical Institute was created in the 60s to renew the church on behalf of the world. Larry joined the Institute shortly after the assassination of Martin Luther King in 1968. One of his roles was Dean of the Institute's Urban Academy for the Black community leaders. He was also assigned to network with Black pastors throughout the United States. A colleague said he was a powerful presence from day one. His intellectual prowess and spiritual profundity knocked the socks off most of us. She recalled loving Larry and his family, being delighted to have theological conversations and enjoying dancing. She concluded by saying how blessed we are to have lived in the presence of such a great saint. Another colleague remarked about Larry's inspiring persona, and that in Larry he sensed the pain and struggles, but also the revolutionary spirit of the Black community. To the mainly white staff of the Institute, this colleague said Larry stood as the other, holding it accountable for rising above any natural parochialism. In 1973, the Ecumenical Institute created the Institute of Cultural Affairs as a secular international institution concerned with community development and leadership. That same year, the Order Ecumenical was formally incorporated as the staff of the ICA. The staff was self-supporting. We lived together. And Larry was a leader in the expansion of the work of the ICA, both nationally and globally. At this time, the Institute began replicating the Fifth City Project in 24 communities, one for each time zone. During this period, from 1973 to 1984, Larry's leadership was utilized in locations such as Ivy City in Washington, D.C., Jamaica, and Kolkata, India. One of the Institute's program was the town meeting. In 1974, wearing a dazzling white suit, Larry gave one of the talks at the initial town meeting in Atlanta, Georgia. A colleague said there were 200 participants, and Larry was amazing. 2 years later, town meetings were held in every county in the United States. During this time, the IC expanded to offices in numerous locations in the United States, 30 countries, and a staff of 2,000. Larry loved to sing. A colleague wrote that he remembered Larry singing in his presence. Another remarked on his heartfelt gratitude for Larry's great spirit. Every summer, we would hold a research assembly in Chicago, and Larry would invariably be called upon to give one of the talks.
So this was a time, I'm going to pick up the story, and this was a time of going flat out across the world. We talked about Larry, his family. We're going to hear from two of the young people in that organization as children. And I would say we went out to the world to work, to change it, and the world changed us. We came back in 1984. We had a major UN conference in India, 500 local practitioners. It was the largest group the UN had ever pulled together of local people, not the people with their doctorates and the fancy titles, but local people coming together, making their way to share. We also then pulled together the staff of the Institute, and part of that change was we all had different ideas on what we would do. The next year, with Larry's help, we held a planetary vision quest and began to meet the leaders in the different movements that were happening now here in the 70s. One of those leaders that came was Dr. Jean Houston, and I'm pleased to see that she's on the call tonight with us. It was her leadership that, in her invitation to journey with her deeper. What had we learned? What had we seen? What was still required? We worked with Jean over the next years, Human Capacity Program. I want to just put a little note on that one, that's where Larry met Peggy, and in a deep evolutionary friendship as it started out, and such a wonderful partnership that has been. And we continued to work. Dr. Houston, in the midst of that, we were shaping what would be the next responses. And Tay's name came up. And that journey then, that was the next step Larry took on his journey, his pilgrim's journey. I appreciate that. And I wanted to just say in the midst of this that in 10 days, 300 people, ICA, will gather in Zimbabwe, hosted by the leadership of Zimbabwe. It's the Black leaders of Africa inviting the ICA to come back to Black Africa. This is part of that legacy. And as Larry and Peggy did their workshops and began the deepening work, it was often colleagues that invited Larry and Peggy to come initially. We wanted to sit at Larry's and Peggy's feet again. And to take that in, I call Larry my brother, and I embrace his life lived, his heart song, well sung. Dear brother, which thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Blaze. We'll now hear from Emmanuel. If you could just go off on video, there you are. And for our speakers, about 5 minutes. Good to see you.
Thank you, Matt, and I appreciate that. What I wanted to share was it's kind of an expansive time that I want to cover. I'll still keep to the 5 minutes, but I'll talk about a few key points of my experience with Larry. It's a story of healing and reconnection. So when Larry and Nadine were members of a nonprofit organization called the Institute of Cultural Affairs, which you heard our last speakers refer to, in 1970, I was born. They were a powerhouse within this community of gentle rebels whose mission was to help impoverished peoples all around the world. Through words, action, and song, they help shape the future of communities in need. Relationships are hard. When I was young, still young, Larry and Nadine split. And after that, my time with him was spotty. I still cherish the experiences with his family in Cleveland, and I still appreciate when he traveled across the country or sometimes the world to participate in key milestones in my life. During that time, a number of his colleagues shared caring for me. And one of the reasons why I wanted to follow Blaze is because he was one of those individuals. Blaze was my guardian family, and I appreciate that always. In the early 90s, Larry visited me at my college, the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota. It was a surprise visit, and he had a heartfelt message for me. He shared that he was a man looking to get his life in order, and that he hoped that getting to know me better would be a part of that process. And I took that in, but then also being practical, I told him that I was going to be late for calculus. So we really began our relationship anew in earnest when I was invited to Stonehill College for a Buddhist retreat. I think that was in the year 2000. I was able to not just reconnect with him, but also appreciate him in what I think many would describe as his element. Meeting the people from the different Buddhist communities that came to that retreat, I guess, realizing that what Buddhism can be and what it can support. I didn't know that you could be a Rasta Buddhist or a Jewish Buddhist and a Christian Buddhist. So these things were very enlightening for me, and also gave me an opportunity to understand more about Larry. After that, we kept a much more regular cadence of communication. And even at one point, one of the highlights, I remember meeting Peggy. And I also remember when my girlfriend at the time, that Larry and Peggy hosted us in Thailand. we took a trip there. I think it was in 2014. We spent 8 days with them, 4 days in Bangkok, and I think another 4 days in Hua Hin. And just took in the Thai culture and food, and obviously the great company that we were keeping. I met many of their friends from the school where Larry taught, and the neighbors and the community that they had made. It's really, I guess, what I'd like to leave you with is, you know, at that point, you know, that journey that began in 2000, it was really one of friendship, right, with two people who obviously have a lot in common. And I think it kind of embodies, though, you know, his intention, his compassion, and I guess that's really what it is. With intention and compassion, wounds can heal and reconnection is possible. Turn it back over to Matt.
Thank you, Emmanuel. So we'll continue our journey through Larry's life with the sharing from Kara Duolingo.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for your heartfelt words, and Blaze, Jan. I'm so happy to be with all of you as we honor this beautiful presence in our lives. Like Emmanuel, Larry knew me as a baby too. So he has really been a presence of love and care, even since before I was born. He and my parents worked together in this ecumenical institute that you've heard about, this global intentional community dedicated to spiritual renewal and social change. And because children were cared for collectively, as Emmanuel mentioned, Larry cared for me as a child, as a baby. He was a friend to my mom, Dawn Collins, one of the few other Black members of the order, from Fifth City, from the west side of Chicago, where this foundational project began. And they taught the Black Academy together, my mom and Larry and others. So then I didn't see him until I became a nun, I didn't see him again until we were both in Plum Village together. And that was a wonderful reconnecting. And as a nun, he really was a very dear mentor to me, with just provided very steadfast support, and was someone I could cry with, and he would really listen to me and hold my pain. I could share my joys, and we began to do some wonderful things together. So we both helped to bring into being the first People of Color retreat at Deer Park Monastery in 2004. It's the largest BIPOC retreat that's ever been held in the US. And we continue to kind of shepherd these retreats together after that. Larry's talks, his Dharma talks, were authentic, transformative, and they really helped people of color touch both our pain and our resilience. He embodied what he taught and invited us all, as he wrote in his poem, For You, to stand up in the house of belonging. We worked together with a group to create a new Touching the Earth practice to honor the racial and ethnic land ancestors of this country. And when our beloved teacher Ty asked me to edit his teachings, Ty's teachings from the POC retreats, into the book Together We Are One, he specifically requested that I include Larry's teachings as a chapter in that book.
So Larry experienced great suffering in his life, and he really practiced with that suffering. He knew the art of suffering, how to transform suffering into beauty and transformation, as Emmanuel beautifully mentioned. He was able to move through the world with grace and humor and lightness. Grounded deeply in the Dharma, he engaged personal and collective shadows with courage and love. His book, America's Racial Karma, shines as a luminous guide for healing our nation's wounds and awakening together. Larry was, as our dear friend from the Ecumenical Institute, Judy White, who's here, has said, both a spiritual revolutionary and a spiritual evolutionary. So he challenged systems of suffering while also evolving our collective consciousness toward love and liberation. And he loved life, music, poetry, friendships, dogs, and the living world. Larry's life was a testament to love, courage, and service. His presence and teachings will continue to guide and inspire us all, I'm sure. I personally am profoundly grateful for his life and for the blessings of walking alongside him on this beautiful path. So I want to close with a song that I remember hearing Peggy and Larry sing, and that I also grew up singing in this Ecumenical Institute. But first, I just want to say that for the longest time, I was trying to remember the love song I heard Larry sing to Peggy, and it came to me. I was on retreat last month. So I just want to, in parentheses, say, please listen to the song "And I Love You So" by Don McLean, because I just have such a beautiful memory of Larry singing that love song to Peggy. But as I sing this song, which is a hymn, please, I invite you to see Larry transitioning beautifully as I sing, rising on eagle's wings. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall rise upon wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Help us, Lord, in your way. Those who serve the suffering world shall renew their strength. They shall rise upon wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Help us, Lord, in your way. Those who love the mystery shall renew their strength. They shall rise upon wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Help us, Lord, in your way. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount upon wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Help us, Lord, in your way.
Thank you, dear Kyra. And we'll close. I think we're saying the later years of our dear teacher Larry with a sharing from Camilla, and I apologize, we haven't met before, so I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so maybe you could introduce yourself to the group and share your name, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. My name is Camila Majid, and it's an honor to be here with all of you, honoring Great Spirit, Reverend Dr. Ward. I had the first opportunities to meet him through gatherings of Buddhists of African descent. And since then, we had the opportunity to connect at a lot of Buddhist scholarship events, as well as some more secular contemplative events. I was honored to be with him as he and Peggy taught so beautifully at last year's Summer Research Institute at the Mind and Life Institute in Garrison, New York. And then again this April when we were together at Princeton for a dialogue on karma. And in between that, over the years, he and I have talked many times, and I've always been inspired by his capacity to be uh, present with joy and equanimity no matter what was happening. And I'm just really grateful to be here with all of you. I was trying to find the words to describe how deeply impacted how much a teacher, Reverend Dr. Ward, has been for me. I practice in the Mahayana lineage and the Nichiren tradition, and he was one of the first people to really talk about how we all needed to understand different lineages of the Buddhist teachings, uh, and also that we needed to draw from the other spiritual traditions, the wisdom from the other spiritual traditions that we knew of. In his case, clearly Christianity, and in my case, having grown up Muslim, I was able to really see that the connection between all spiritual paths through the way he talked about it and the way he embodied it and the way he encouraged. So I just would like to share a little bit of what I've been writing. I have been processing um, his transition in writing, and it's been a way to stay in communication. And I plan to continue to write with him forever. So I'll just share this brief piece that I wrote for dear Reverend Dr. Ward. I loved calling him that because for so many reasons, and he loved that I called him that. So even when he was like, Larry, it's fine, I was like, no, I just want to invoke all of this of who you are. So this poem, these words are just thank you, Reverend Dr. Ward. You reminded me that the oldest meaning of the word friend is one who loves. And there was no one you could not love. And that alone is a spiritual triumph. You loved knowledge, soaked it into your mind, purified it with deep practice, and thus became an ocean of wisdom, nourishing beings far and wide. You loved words and danced with them in your scholarly writings, Buddhist writings, and poetry, all of which were seamlessly blended as you bathed us in the wisest of waters. You loved the natural world and returned us to the trees and seas, encouraging us to take our woes to the woods, to breathe air into our burdens, to plant seeds of kindness and courage always. Emerging from the earth in this lifetime as a Black bodhisattva, an African ancestor, carrying the djembe of justice in your jaw, you are forever an exemplar of Aditana. As you endured a lifetime of racism with Upeka in a way that showed us how to face this world before us now. Like Venerable Vimalakirti, you used illness as a symbol of what could be transcended. Laughing with us in joie de vivre, you were triumphant over the pain racking your body. You knew yourself to be a spiritual being first, one whose spirituality could not be confined to only one understanding of our spiritual development and possibilities. You knew that Buddhahood or enlightenment was augmented by our understanding of all spiritual paths. As a teacher, you eased our souls in silence with your very being. Grounded in your Dharma body, you exuded compassion, embodying the inherent compassionate life force of the universe itself. Reverend Dr. Ward, you are forever a king who ruled over his own mind and heart. What a wonder that is, to be the master of your own life through countless moments of skillful self-regulation. You defeated racism in your heart. You defeated greed with your soul. Our friend, this king, has won, and his victory shines right there. See it? It's the light flickering through the tears in our eyes. May we weep always with joyful remembrance, refreshing ourselves in the rivers of wisdom you led us to. Gautama Buddha said, live in joy, even amongst, live in joy, in love, even among those who hate. Live in joy, in health, even among the afflicted. Live in joy, in peace, even among the troubled. Look within, be still, free from fear and attachment. Know the sweet joy of the way.
Thank you. Many hearts all over the screen. So I want to share that we're obviously going a little late tonight. Peggy, would you like to continue with the whole flow? Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you everyone for sharing more about Larry's life and his impact on you and your teachings. So we'll now enjoy a little bit of a slideshow. Some photos of Larry traveling through sanghas, traveling through different monasteries, traveling around the world and teaching with all of us. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll watch a short slideshow and then come back together. Well, thank you to our social media team, Mai and Wa from Toronto, who I think who are on the call still for putting that together for us. And thank you to everyone who uploaded your photos of your stories and your time traveling and teaching and practicing with Larry. Reverend Dr. Larry Ward. It does ring off the tongue pretty damn nicely. We will now Yeah, and well, thank you for sticking around. That we're over time, but something that was always really important for Larry was traveling and visiting with wake up groups, our young practitioners, and sharing the practice with them. So we have invited Wake Up Toronto and Wake Up Midwest. I think they're all having some live streaming events. Hello in all of the places. So we thought we would let them, as a group, kind of share a few thoughts and memories, how Larry has impacted their life and their practice. So I will unmute Wake Up Toronto. Yeah, there you go. You should see your prompts.
Dear Kai, dear Larry, dear beloved, multifold, messy community, to our family who we know here and those we don't know, we're so happy to meet you all. If any of our fellow global wake uppers or wake up alum are on, raise a hand because you'll pop to the top of the screen and then we can wave to each other. Hi, fam. Yeah, we were cooking up a few words to say. We won't take up too much time. But we were sitting in my office at the University of Toronto. Logan came to give a lecture today. We're the lands of the Huron-Wendat, Seneca, Mississaugas of the Credit, many Indigenous folks. And today on this land, we were cooking up the Dharma fresh in a classroom. And we thought, what will we say tonight? And as we sat and reflected, we thought, it doesn't really matter what we say, that these hands raised, the folks in the room around me, the interloper, my mom, she likes to call herself Wake Up anyway. All of us represent folks under 45, BIPOC, queer, who Larry and Peggy made feel safe and belong. They entrusted us to keep cooking up the Dharma. And I wanted to share a few words in my classroom today. And Juan and Mai also, who made that video, are my students right now. And Larry would come over the last few years. In one of my classes, I assigned America's Racial Karma as a book club book. And Larry would come give a guest lecture over Zoom, and my students would get so pumped that they got to meet the author and ask questions. And Larry would the fire, the passionate compassion fire that he would light up in my students, and watching him volley questions with them. It wasn't a Dharma hall, they just interrupt him on Zoom. And then after, he'd stay and always just offer some mentorship to me on my own path. And I just wanted to share, having him meet my students. And sometimes I get to hear the students after, in class, they whisper to each other, oh, he's like a Southern priest meets a Zen monk. And just the joy, the hope that he brought forth in all of us. And this real permission to keep cooking the Dharma, to keep walking it forward. And this book arrived in my home last night. Delphine was over. We're having a whole saga week with Logan in town, our Wake Up vibes. And this book arrived. And so I just wanted to share, I've kind of been snuggling it all day. And for the last 49 days, Rob, my husband here, also OI member on our altar, we have Ty and Larry, and have been touching the earth and really taking that moment to recommit ourselves to walking the bodhisattva path. And Brother Phaphu once told a story of seeing Ty receive a book, and they wanted to celebrate with him. And he was like, no. And they're like, what? And he wanted to present the book to his ancestral altar before they celebrated. And so this morning, we presented the book to Ty and Larry. I'll be assigning it to my class this winter. And so my students and I will do a book club with it. And yeah, just touching the altar each day with them. I did 75% of the time, I meant to do it every day, but part-time Buddhas. When I first started, I was thinking of the bodhisattva path, thinking of honoring my teachers, and then doing it so many days in a row, I stopped thinking, and I touched the earth in front of both their smiling faces. I didn't have to think, I could just feel them with me. So I'll say one last thing and then just pass the mic around as the spirit moves you. You can drop in an ingredient. I just want to say, yeah, my deepest gratitude to this bodhisattva who offered us so much love and helped us to build our family. Emmanuel, we were at Stonehill. I don't know if we met, but we were there that year. Kyra, Jewel, I'm looking at you. I know we were at Omega together, just walking this earth. So the last thing I wanted to say is my mom said to us over a meal just before we came up here, having spent some time with Larry on YouTube today again, he's the Dharma teacher that is the Dharma. So I'll just do a quick pass of the mic around, whatever this, if the spirit moves you to add something to everyone, and then we'll meet ourselves again.
This is Logan bowing in. I had the privilege of being mentored by Peggy. And of course, if you're getting mentored by Peggy, you're getting mentored by Peggy and Larry, of course. On my journey to become a member of the Order of Interbeing. And as some of you may know, there aren't very many queer, young, non-binary people. And Peggy and Larry were the first Dharma teachers that really made me feel like I belonged and like I could take up space. And in part through seeing them take up space unapologetically, I feel like there's no better example than just to see it lived, to see that embodiment of courage and freedom. And he was such a wonderful ally, like he was the best ally to the LGBT community. And I was thinking and reflecting today that we're on the Wake Up CTC for North America. So we've been talking a lot. And one thing I realized is that Peggy and Larry are the examples we use whenever we've talked about the kinds of Dharma teachers that we'd like to be someday, or new Dharma teachers, and the kinds of people that we'd like to be like, and the kinds of teachers who we know we could always lean on for support and who we still can. It was always Peggy and Larry, though. That was and I realized it would, wow, like it didn't click that way, that they are the embodiment of being an ally to all beings, and especially those who might not feel like they belong. And they were the embodiment of creating a space of belonging, and the impact will last for many, many lifetimes.
Wait, can we end it with be human, be wild, be deep? Okay. Okay. Can we just do it?
Be human, be wild,
be deep.
Can I have that one more time? Be human, be wild. What was the third one?
Be deep.
Be deep. Thank you. Thank you, Wake Up Toronto. I think our friends from Wake Up Midwest are you still here? I'm not sure. Yes, I see you. You're waving your hands. I see you through Rachel Keefe's screen. I'm gonna bring you up, okay? Is this the right person to, yeah? Okay.
Okay. Oh, but I'll turn around.
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
great.
Okay. Thank you all for your patience and flexibility this evening. It's so strange to be talking to hundreds of people, but I'm going to be just speaking to my Sangha here since I can see you all. I feel such a depth of gratitude to be able to grieve in community tonight. And ever since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, I no longer take being with people in our grief for granted. So thank you all for showing up tonight to honor this beloved teacher who it's just such a loss. It's hard to put to words, but what I wanted to share briefly is that I met Peggy and Larry actually in this very room when they were here for a day of mindfulness that the Blooming Heart Sangha, of which I'm now so happy to be a part of, hosted. It was November 2 or 3 years ago, and meeting Peggy and Larry and taking the 5 mindfulness trainings is what brought me to a Sangha for the very first time. And as a fellow queer younger practitioner, it has been transformative to find a spiritual home here. And one of the absolutely most transformative experiences of my life, of these 35 years that I've been here, was attending a retreat at the Christine Center with Peggy and Larry. And I will never forget that week in August that we shared together, and the way that Larry was so generous with his time with someone like me who was just so excited and just wanting to learn and connect and sort of couldn't believe that I got to share space with him and Peggy, and the way that he just opened up his life to all of us in those few days. I will never forget. We'll be deeply touched by it forever. And just want to say thank you all so much for gathering us here tonight, and to Kristen for leading us in these practices of honoring Larry since his continuation, and just sending Peggy and all of you so much love here from Minneapolis.
Good evening. My name is Marcus Yang Mo, my Chinese name. Dear Tai, dear Larry, dear Peggy, dear Sangha. Under a tree by the dining hall at Deer Park Monastery, some year, but it was a BIPOC retreat. I sat with Larry for the first time, and Larry said to me something I've never heard anyone say to me. And he said, I would gladly sit at your feet and learn. And the way he said it struck at my self-doubt in the most direct and compassionate way. And the words still ring in me. And I just wanted to tell you about that moment so that you can carry that moment with you. You can perhaps have your own moment of self-doubt that is superseded by a new confidence given to you by someone so dear and so loving. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Peggy. Our greetings from the Twin Cities.
Finally, we remember a litany of Larry-isms.
Don't build a monument to your pain.
Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Stand up in the house of belonging.
Take your seat at the table of healing and transformation. Don't let some fool take your seat.
Ride the winds of change, unafraid.
Don't be confused. Ty was a revolutionary.
Ours is a practice for liberating ourselves and each other.
Apply your practice out in the world, in your lives, for healing and transformation.
Compassion is not about being a doormat. Don't let people walk all over you.
If you encounter a boulder, go around it like water in a river.
Ty was a cross between a cloud and a Mack truck.
Don't be trapped by your mental formations.
And finally, well, in this list, we have another list after that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry, there's a couple more. Okay. Yay. This is one that Larry delivered with a laugh. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for I am the meanest son of the bitch in the valley.
I'm sure you were.
Crank up the woo-woo.
Listening to birds, we remember you, Larry.
In the rising and setting sun, we remember you, Larry.
Going outside in the early morning, we remember you, Larry.
In small and large acts of kindness, we remember you, Larry.
In our steps on this sweet earth, we remember you, Larry.
In our sitting, in our standing, in our laughing, we remember you, Larry.
My one line. I just wanted to try to get one line out, and that's, first of all, thank you, Larry. We had an amazing life together, and I wouldn't change a damn thing, except damn you, Larry, for dying. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing I've got to complain about right now. You're the love of my life, and I've loved every crazy, wonderful thing. And so my one line for all of us in the Bardo, all of you, can you help me read it? I'm crying too much. I can't read it. This is it.
Great gratitude.
Great gratitude.
For all of us loving Larry and each other, may all beings transitioning
in the
between
Be
unafraid and dissolve into radiant oneness.
And I'm so grateful for all of your prayers and support and kindness. And thank you so much for this gathering. It means so much to Larry, and it certainly does to me. And I hope it does for all of us together. So we've been a part of a life of a great bodhisattva. Thank you.
Camera bowing in. Welcome to this moment, dear ones. And thank you so much for all the love that has been shared through poetry, remembrance, videos, tears, and just everything that showed up is just love personified. So the invitation in this moment is to take a shape, allow your body to take a shape that feels supportive, safe, and nurturing. And allow your breath to guide you there. If the shape is different than the way you're sitting, please listen to the wisdom of your body. And as you allow your breath to guide you to this space, notice the other beings in this space breathing with you. The folks in the Zoom space, the animals and the plants in the room you're in, as well as the trees outside. And allow each breath to be a noticing of our interconnectedness. Thank you, Larry, for a life well lived that has touched and helped transform the lives of so many. Thank you for continuing to put peace in every step. Thank you, ancestors wise and well in spirit. And thank you, Creator, for this life-giving breath. And in the words of Larry, our breath, our friend, the in-breath and the out-breath. The Creator wants nothing more than to love on us the way we love on a newborn baby, unconditionally and with deep care. May we wrap ourselves in the blanket of this remembrance. May we allow this knowing to swaddle the tender places in our heart. And when we forget, may we allow our breath to remind us. Remind us that we are made in the image of the Creator. We are love personified. May wailing, moaning, humming, and singing be the sacred sounds that allow pain to speak, be heard, and be cared for. May a drop, a trickle, or a flow of tears be the necessary moisture to allow this process to grow and be complete. And may rocking, curling up, or getting out in nature move energy through you to lift you to a higher vibration. And when this incarnation of life continues to stretch us, may we feel, sense, believe, and even imagine that we are protected and guided, that we are divinely cared for. May we be the folks who continue to cook up the Dharma, in the words of Waking Up Toronto. And may the umbilical vein that connects us all continue to flow nourishment through us and to us for our individual and collective callings. Tonight, may we turn our hearts towards tonight's hunter's moon, the extended light of tonight's hunter's moon, shining brighter and bigger than usual, turning us towards seeing clearly and helping to prepare us for winter in all the ways that winter will show up. This breath, this life, may it continue to guide and protect Larry in his next incarnation and his continuation. And may it continue to reveal to each and every one of us our soul's calling. This or better. Amen. Ashe. Hallelujah.